Today we're gonna make the most amazing gluten-free, grain-free, seedy bread that is packed with nutrients and is a total game changer for anyone that is trying to increase fiber intake or increase their nutrient density in their diet, as well as anyone who is currently struggling with any grains. This toast or bread is so delicious and incredibly easy to make. It does require some ingredients, but it comes together so fast. And it's probably the most hippie recipe that I make, which feels very on brand for me. I don't know if you knew this, but I grew up on a Gulf island with no electricity and tons of hippie life. So we're gonna get started. The first thing you need to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees. There is some steps ahead of that, but I'm gonna talk you through it. We're gonna do it together. So to start off with, you do need a mixing bowl. It's very fancy. And we are going to, I'm gonna tell you how we're gonna do this. What happens is you mix all of these things together and ideally let it sit for, I would say, at least an hour, or you can let it sit overnight or for as long as you want, just pop it in the fridge. The longer it sits, the kind of more texture is developed. Everything kind of melds together. And also, if you are having a hard time digesting things, letting things soak in moisture, all of these things soak in moisture, is going to make it easier for you to digest. So that's something to keep in mind. Then you preheat your oven to 350 degrees and you bake it. Today, we're gonna use a little bit of magic because we don't have so many hours to hang out together. So we've got our bowl. We're gonna just get into this. We've got a cup of pumpkin seeds, raw pumpkin seeds. So high in zinc and just goodness. You're gonna love it. Cup of raw sunflower seeds. And we just add it all into this glorious bowl. And we're gonna do a cup of almond flour. This seedy bread recipe has it had a moment, I feel like, a couple years ago, and then it's a little bit less popular now, but it should always be having a moment because it's so good for you and so good. We're gonna do a half a cup of flax seeds whole. This one, you don't wanna use ground flax seeds because you'll just absorb a little bit too much liquid and it kind of dries it out. So half a cup whole flaxseed. This is the magic ingredient. This is psyllium husk, and we're gonna talk about it for a minute. Psyllium husk is one of my favorite ingredients for aiding in digestion. It's so good for you. It's a prebiotic, it's high in fiber. It helps everything work amazingly, probably one of the gold stars when it comes to fiber in your body. It doesn't cause bloating generally. It doesn't cause digestion discomfort like flax or chia seeds can. It is the greatest. So we have a half a cup of psyllium husk. Basically, I'm just like trying to convince everyone to eat some more psyllium husk. And we have a quarter cup of chia seeds. So you can see that this is so diverse in ingredients and different fibers, which is just so good for your digestion. One of the greatest things you can do for your gut health. I also have a half a cup of raw almonds. Now you can splash out and use whatever nuts you like. You can use a mixture, whatever you like. I'm gonna mix this together and then we're gonna add our wet ingredients. Okay, so just stirring this up. It's like one of the easiest recipes to make. And it makes amazing toast. It's perfect with jam, avocado toast, whatever you like. It's so good. Okay, so I'm gonna add a teaspoon and a half of salt. A 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 3 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. And then this is when it gets crazy. I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of water and we're gonna mix it together, and you're gonna see how quickly this comes into this crazy kind of dough situation. What I love about this is you really can jazz this up any way you like. If you want to add some dried fruit, if you want to make it more of a savory something or other, you can add dried herbs, rosemary, and dried cranberries, and hazelnuts. I mean, come on. The options are endless. You can experiment and explore with this and use it as just the foundation. Okay, you can see that it's already starting to absorb the moisture between the psyllium husk and the flax and the chia seeds. They're gonna take it all. All right, we're gonna put that aside for a second and prepare our bake sheet. So once you have you can see how quickly it comes together. You just fold it in together. You wanna put it into a baking sheet right away, because this isn't a baking sheet. It's a loaf pan, because that is like, it's gonna form the loaf as it soaks, as it rests. So I have just a regular baking sheet. Why do I keep calling it a baking sheet? Loaf pan. I have a regular size loaf pan and just a splash of olive oil in there. You don't have to put the oil. I like to, because it makes it so much easier to get out. And then I like to put in some parchment paper, because then you can just pull it right out once it's baked, which is a dream. And this is what you do with the extra olive oil on your hands, or whatever oil you use, coconut oil, whatever. Squish it in there. I love it because you can see that because I've got the olive oil in there, the parchment paper sticks, so it doesn't fold in all crazy when you dump the batter in. That's the worst. The other thing I like to do is kind of fold this, pinch that so that it stays open. I don't really know if that's necessary, but that's just how I roll. All right, we dump this in. And then you really want to kind of press it down. This is the shaping of the loaf. That's what we're doing now. It's not gonna change, it's not gonna rise. It's very dense. It weighs a lot. And every slice is very filling, which is fantastic. Okay. At this point, you'll want to cover this up, and if you're going to bake it the same day, you can leave it on the counter and just let everything kind of, I don't know, soak in together, and then bake it. If you want to leave it overnight, you'll want to cover it and put it in the fridge just to make sure nothing goes weird or rancid or whatever. I really do love to keep all my seeds in the refrigerator. Some of them are notorious for going off incredibly fast, and that can cause digestive issues. So if you want to keep them fresh, keep them in the fridge in an airtight container, and they'll stay amazing forever. Okay, so we're gonna put this aside, and in the meantime, I'm gonna make some chia seed jam with you just to show you how quick and easy that is and how amazing it is on this bread. All right, so let's do that. To make the chia seed jam, all you need is a pot, and we're gonna just do 2 cups of mixed berries. You can use any berries you like. I'm using blueberries and raspberries because they're easy to find locally, and the raspberries grow in the backyard, and then you just freeze them on sheet pans, and that's the best. Okay, so we're gonna add the raspberries the berries into the pot. I'm gonna put this on medium heat and let them thaw. Essentially, the whole recipe takes between 5 and 10 minutes. So I'm gonna put this on medium heat and let these berries just kind of stew for a minute. So the berries have melted. I added just the 2 cups of frozen berries, 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup, and 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. And it's still liquidy, but as it cools, the chia seeds will do their magic. Now, while it's nice and runny, I like to add it right to the jar and let it settle down. Ready to go. So this just needs to cool. The chia seeds will swell and make it thick and delicious as it cools off. Perfect for spreading on toast. What I love about this is it's an amazing way to use up seasonal fruit, to have a lower sugar or a low sugar jam. Comes together in 10 minutes and it is so delicious. So now that that's going to be cooling, I am going to show you what the finished loaf looks like and a couple different ways you can enjoy it. All right. All right, so magic time lapse. This is what it looks like when it's done. So you bake it for about an hour and a half. I like to rotate it about halfway through. And if I feel like it's just too moist or it's not quite done after that hour and a half, I actually will take it out of the pan, loaf pan, not baking sheet, and pop it in the oven like this, just right on the oven rack, and let it kind of firm up. The goal is you want it to be sounding kind of hollow, just like when you bake regular bread, which is a little bit tricky because it'll be hot when it's done, but it just, well, you'll see. It has a little, like when you tap it, it just sounds a little bit hollow. but it is nothing like regular bread. So aside from that, it's a whole new journey for you. All right, let's slice into it and build a couple little sandwich options. Obviously, you can just use this any way you would enjoy bread. You can also slice it very thin and toast it in a toaster oven, and then it turns into almost one of those really fancy, delicious crackers. So that's a good time too. Our chia jam is coming together. I broke that one. My knife got stuck in an almond. When you're slicing this, you kind of want to make thin slices. Okay. You can see that it is just beautiful. Each piece is just packed with texture, and if you add in rosemary or some dried fruit, it just is glorious. You can also gently put this in the toaster, which is chef's kiss, but we're not going to do that today because I don't got time. You don't got time to watch me toast this. Hopefully you have a sharp bread knife. Mine didn't like this almond right here. Okay, so I just suggest using it however you like. Whatever your favorite little Sam is, live it up. First one I'm gonna do is classic almond butter. Peanut butter, whatever you like. With some of our jam, which is still pretty warm, but you can see that it's thickening up. It's happening. I love chia seed jam. Makes me so happy. And I wish you could smell it because it smells like summer right in that jar. So that's one delicious option. We also have the classic. Let's see where this avocado is at. This is the riskiest part of this whole cooking show. Is it gonna be ripe? It's kind of overripe, but look, there's spots. We're just gonna get rid of this little weird spot. Ripe avocados. The perfect avocado is like winning the lottery. This with some like a boiled egg, so good. You can also make it like an actual sandwich. I have some cashew cheese, which is one of my all-time favorite things. They use really great ingredients to make plant-based cheese now, so it's actually delicious and good for you. I do recommend reading the ingredients on your plant-based cheese because sometimes it's not always the best stuff. Kind of a junk show over here. Okay, I'm gonna leave them all open-faced because I just think that they're prettier and they're gonna be a little bit easier to eat. But you can see that, of course, you can use this any way you like. It is delicious. And I hope you give it a try. I will list the measurements of the ingredients in the caption below, so you can check that out and you can see how easy it is to make. So if you are struggling with any sort of issues with grains or want to try a really nutrient dense option to switch up your regular toast in the morning, this is such a fun option and I hope you enjoy it. I am going to eat some of this delicious jam. The only thing is now, seeds in my teeth. But thank you so much for joining me. Have a glorious day.